What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to MLB Swing for the Fences DFS show here on the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. It's Thursday morning, August 28th, officially, Dan, 1 week before the start of the NFL season. Got a nice little college football slate tonight as well. And, of course, baseball to talk about. We've got 5 games, early baseball slate here to talk. Break it all down is Dan. How you doing on this Thursday morning?
I'm doing great, man. Just waking up. Wasn't aware there was an early morning slate today, but JSU hit me up, said, "Hey, do you want to jump on the show?" I said, "Of course, I would love to jump on the show with DC." So here we are.
Yeah, I was as of about an hour ago. I thought I was flying solo on the show, which is never a lot of fun. Did it last Thursday, so I'm glad you're here to save me, Dan.
I got you, man. I got you. But don't want anyone to have to do a show alone. That sounds horrible. I've not done it yet, but it's like. That's good on you for being able to pull that off. I don't know if I'd be able to pull that off.
It gets a little weird for me, like 20, 30 minutes in when you're just literally talking to yourself into a screen and you're like, you like start to like question your own voice. And is anybody listening out there? It just feels very lonely to me. I don't know how, you get like some, like the talk show hosts who like do it for 3 hours every day.
Yeah.
I certainly couldn't do that. Last Thursday was the greatest show of the year. Thank you, Chris. It's not particularly flattering to the rest of the great hosts here at Run Pure Sports, but I did try my best on the Thursday morning last week. Yeah, Dan. I mean, anything else to add? It's an awesome time of year, obviously, with football starting, but I'm sure you're ready to talk baseball. I'm filibustering while you do your research over there, so you'll be ready to go. You're a prop guy anyway, right? You're basing most of your picks based on what the betting market says, and we've got those up for most of these games. Yep. Let's get into it. Hit the like button if you're watching here on Thursday morning. We're up early doing this show. You're watching. Help us out with that like button. Let's get into it, Dan. We do start off with an important game in Baltimore. We've got the Orioles and the Red Sox in Camden Yards. Looks like a pretty good place to hit. Will be hot, humid, a little bit of wind blowing out. But the story here is the pitching. We'll start with the Boston side of it. Garrett Crochet, who's been just fantastic all year long. Super high upside pitcher, goes deep into games. Really, almost nothing bad to say about Crochet, including the matchup here, which looks really good against the Orioles. I don't think we have their lineup quite yet, but there's really not a lot they can do. Their best bats, Jackson Holliday, Henderson, Cowser, they all swing from the left side. They don't really have many good right-handed bats. I mean, it would basically be Ryan Mountcastle, who is kind of a league average type guy. So I've seen like really almost nothing threatening for Crochet here. He is priced up all the way to $12K, so you've got to pay for him. But I don't know how many lineups you've built, Dan. There's not really that many expensive bats that or at least that I'm dying to get into my lineup. So it doesn't seem like you're sacrificing too much to get to Crochet, which has me leaning just to play him. We do have the ownership up here on the screen share. We have 55% so far on Crochet. If that's what it comes in as, I think you want to be over the field on that number on this particular slate. So I'm fully buying on Crochet. And then fellow lefty Cade Povich going for the Orioles was a little rocky last time out, give up some runs. He did get the swing and miss, though. And looking into his profile this morning, I did notice the swing and miss stuff for him has been improving over the course of his brief career to the point where he looks like a pretty decent strikeout arm these days. And if you look at this matchup with the Red Sox, a lot of strikeouts to be had for the lefty Povich on a little bit of a watered down Boston lineup as well. So I kind of like both pitchers here, Crochet and Povich. If going to hitters, it would be the Red Sox side, but I'm not particularly crazy about them. Love Crochet, like Povich. Where'd you end up with Red Sox and Orioles, Dan?
Yeah, I'm getting a ton of Crochet. I've got like 80% Crochet, and then Povich, like you mentioned, I'm getting 50% of him. But that probably has a lot to do with the fact that Povich is 6,200. Crochet, like you said, is 1,200. 12,000. So I'm getting a lot of Crochet Povich pairings. And then that's helping me get to the most expensive bets on the slate, which is Houston. So I'm getting a fair amount of crochet with Houston, but it's requiring me to play Povich, and then I've got secondaries of Colorado and Pittsburgh mostly with them. Like those are my two main value stacks on the day today. So that's what a lot of my builds are kind of shaking out to look like at the moment.
Yeah, there you go. You got the full Dan build on the first game of the day. But I'm with you. I like Povich a lot here. I don't mind pairing these guys, and they do fit well with the Astros, who, like you mentioned, look like they might be on the best spot. Really not that great of spots for hitting on a 5-game slate. So, like I said, you're not sacrificing a lot to get crochet in there. It's baseball. Shit happens, and the best plays don't always work out. But I do think starting your lineups with crochet makes a lot of sense. He'll certainly be in my core, and frankly, probably most of the lineups that I built today, in on Povich as well. I think that's a pretty good way to start this slate. Let's jump forward an hour to game number 2. It is in Milwaukee at American Family Field. You got the lefty Jose Quintana going for Milwaukee. I've played him a decent amount this year just as a cheaper option who feels pretty safe most of the time. Usually gets the job done with 15 or so fantasy points. I think he's okay here against Arizona, but it does look like a fairly low strikeout Arizona lineup. I definitely like Crochet better, of course, and I like Povich better too. I think I'd actually take Povich straight up over Quintana, even with the 1K ownership pricing discount, rather. So probably going to be mostly out on Quintana. I don't think he's a terrible play. I don't think he's going to get lit up or anything like that. But it's hard to get to him when you like a fellow 1K pitcher, 1K lower price pitcher better, as I do in Povich. So that's Quintana. I do think you could play some Diamondbacks bats in no lineup, assuming it's normal. Ketel Marte, Perdomo, Lourdes Gurriel would all look pretty good to me against Quintana. And then for the Diamondbacks, pitching will be Nabil Crismat. He's made 2 appearances. Has actually pitched well in both, but he's a 30-year-old journeyman with a 90-mile-per-hour fastball. Not really buying it with Crismat. Digging into him a little bit, Dan, the one thing I noticed, his best pitch by far is the changeup. He throws from the right side. So he's got some reverse splits where righties have actually hit him really hard. So, again, no Brewers lineup. We're kind of early here, but Contreras, Vaughn, Durbin can play the lefties too, but he did strike me as perhaps a true reverse splits pitcher. There's not many of them, but a pitcher with his changeup as his best offering is the type of pitcher who would usually kind of be that guy. So, yeah, I think these Brewers righties, I'm not going to say they're sneaky, but I think they're in an even better spot maybe than most people realize. Really tired bullpen behind Crismat as well. I think it's going to be mediocre lefty Jalen Beeks is the first guy out, which also would be good for Contreras and Vaughn, 2 of my favorite plays on this slate. Over to you, Dan, for the second game here, Arizona and Milwaukee.
Yeah, for Milwaukee, I would throw Frelick and Collins in there as well, just for the bats. Pitching, I'm pretty similar to you. I've got a little bit of Crismat. I'm getting like 2% of Quintana. I wouldn't be surprised if that went down to 0 just because, Quintana, he actually projects, like point per dollar, projects the worst for me out of any pitcher on this slate. He doesn't really have too much strikeout upside here. So I'm pretty much out on Quintana. I'll sprinkle in a little bit of Crismat for the reasons that you mentioned, but bats I'm pretty much the same. Milwaukee is like my 4th highest owned stack, it looks like. Let me see what my other runs are. They're coming up there as well. Yeah, I'm getting Milwaukee pretty consistently as like my 3rd, 4th highest stack in my set. So I like going after Milwaukee, guys that we already mentioned. And then the Arizona side, obviously Carroll's always in play. You mentioned Marte already. I would throw Moreno in there as well. But that's pretty much it for me on this game. Let me see how many stacks I'm getting of Arizona right now. Yeah, Arizona's down there. They're like just after Milwaukee. So they're coming in like 5th, 6th on my runs. I don't mind getting to them. That's pretty much what I got for this game.
I have no idea if I'm pronouncing it right, but Crismat, that's what I'm going with. It could be completely off. We'll find out today when I tune into this riveting baseball game at over the lunch hour. Let's move it on to Houston and Colorado. This one at Minute Maid Park in Houston. It is Big T's favorite pitcher, Kyle Freeland, going for the Rockies, coming in at 5,400. As always, I personally will be passing on Mr. Freeland. Got to like the Astros here. Again, no lineup. Can assume you can pretty much play this whole lineup. You can play anybody against Freeland, so don't be afraid of the left versus left with Alvarez. But yeah, I mean, Pena, Correa, Altuve, Walker, Diaz, all these guys, even the bottom of the order, Cam Smith, going to look good versus Freeland. It's still the Astros. They're not the best offense in the world, no guarantee, but I do think they are the best stack on this slate overall. Close for me with Milwaukee, but certainly like Houston, not playing Freeland. Jason Alexander, I think, is a little bit interesting. I've talked about him a lot on shows, mostly going against him because of his huge splits. He's very effective against right-handed hitters and not at all effective against lefties. Most teams run out a bunch of lefties against him. Rockies can't really do that. Their lineup is out. They've only got two lefties in the lineup. It's Mickey Moniak and Yankiel Fernandez. Moniak, a decent hitter and decent play today, but Alexander pitching in Houston here against 7 righty hitters, and of course the pace-eating Rockies. Got some interest at 8K Alexander, somewhat reluctantly. I mean, I don't think he's an 8K talent pitcher, but the matchup here is certainly good enough to consider him. He is on the list for me. Probably not doing a lot with these Rockies bats myself. Dan, your thoughts, Rockies and Astros?
Yeah, Alexander is coming in anywhere from like my 4th to 5th highest pitcher. I'm getting like 15 to 20% of him, depending on the run. We got the Arizona lineup that's as projected. Yeah, so Colorado, like you said, I mean, Moniak is my favorite Rocky. Before I get into the Rockies, though, like you said, Houston is my number 1 stack by far. Freeland, the velo, it's like 90 miles an hour. His xFIP through the roof, so he should be getting hit. Houston has by far the highest home run upside of any team on the slate, at least by what I'm looking at. And then, yeah, I already mentioned it before, but I do like Colorado for value pieces. These guys are always cheap. Alexander should mow them down, but what do we really know about him? You know what I mean? So I'm willing to take some shots on the Colorado bats just to make some of these like Houston, Crochet, maybe even Crochet and Cubs lineups work, along with Pittsburgh, who we'll talk about later.
Yeah, makes sense. I'll be mostly sticking to the 2 lefties in Colorado. That's Moniak and Yankiel Fernandez, who's 2,200 down there in the 9-hole. I think they're a pretty good. You can actually do the mini stack, the little mini wraparound. Fernandez, Freeman, Moniak, 9-1-2. Get both of the lefties in there in that case. So I might try that on the lineup or 2. I will have Alexander mixed in, like you said. Do you have more Alexander or Povich, Dan?
I have way more Povich. I'm like half Povich.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in on the Povich train too. So I do have Alexander behind Povich, but I do think Alexander pretty good play. Obviously, both of us playing a ton of Crochet, which, obviously squeezes out everybody else to some degree. But I would include Alexander in there for people playing multiple lineups. Do you think he's capable of a good game here? No Freeland for either of us. And, yeah, you got to like those Astros bats. Correa, one guy that I'm looking at, swinging the bat really well. And historically has done really well versus left-handed pitching as well. Let's get to the next game. We've got the Pirates and the Cardinals in St. Louis. We've got the veteran Miles Michaelis going back out there for St. Louis, coming off a very predictable bad start in Tampa. They're not all easy, Dan, but that was an easy one, stacking it up against the Rays, against the contact-heavy Michaelis in Tampa. But tonight he is back in the friendly confines of Busch Stadium, which will play pretty neutral today, so not a bad place to hit necessarily. Michaelis, no interest for me, even against the Pirates. Definitely prefer Povich in that range. We'll mix in some Pirates bats. It's kind of a unexciting lineup, but I do think these guys are in play. O'Neal Cruz looks solid to me. And then the Pirates will go with Braxton Ashcraft, who's pitched well 3 outings in a row. I did dig into him some. He looks like a fairly talented dude. Problem is I just don't know how deep he's going to go into this game. He's been below 65 pitches in all of his outings this year, so it's hard to project more than 70 tops, I think, for Ashcraft. Maybe he goes above that, but it's hard to project it, which makes him a tough play, I think, at 7,500, even if I do think he's going to pitch pretty well. I don't have a ton of interest in this Cardinals team, but it's hard for me to get to Ashcraft himself, even if I think he'll be somewhat efficient while he's out there. What are you looking at here? Kind of a little bit of a confusing game, I think, with the Pirates and the Cardinals. What do you got for us, Dan?
Yeah, I'm getting basically none of the pitching. I'm getting around like 5% of Ashcraft. Mikolas, he's another one of these guys that I get like 1-2% of, and then at the end I'm probably going to axe most of them.
The people are, according to Saber, at least, the people are feeling frisky with Mikolas today, coming in at around 20% ownership. I hope that holds true. I hope the field wants some Mikolas out there.
Yeah, same, because I see Saber has Mikolas about 2 points better than I do. So I hope everyone flocks to Mikolas. They can leave us all the Chris Matt and the Povich, just for us. But yeah, not a whole lot of interest in the pitching here, like you said. I do have interest in the Pirates, like I said before. I like Pham, Cruz, obviously. Horowitz has been hitting really well. These guys are just all really good value, and I probably lean the Pittsburgh side more than the Colorado side here when it comes to value stacks. So I'm getting a good amount of Pittsburgh. St. Louis, I'm getting a lot of Burleson, and then other than that, it's just like single digits of the other guys. And yeah, they're like my lowest owned stack, St. Louis. So I'm in pretty heavy on Pittsburgh, and I'm pretty much out on St. Louis.
Pittsburgh makes sense to me. We did get both of these lineups. Definitely like Reynolds, Cruz. Those are the 2 expensive ones, but you can certainly play Pittsburgh. Obviously, Mikolas is very hittable. I do agree with you. Burleson, really, it would be the top half of the St. Louis lineup that I wouldn't mess with those cheaper guys at the bottom. You just don't need to on this slate. There's enough salary to go around that I would mostly stick to the top half of both these lineups. Nootbaar, Herrera, Burleson, Contreras, Gorman. That top 5 looks pretty good to me against Ashcraft, and kind of the same thing for the Pirates. Do you think you can stack up these 2 teams? You say you're on the Chrismat train, Dan? I think I heard you say that.
Oh, I've got like I'll probably end up with anywhere from like 5 to 10% of him. I was just saying like Chrismat I like a lot more than Mikolas. I was just throwing him out there.
I can get behind that. Yeah, both of us prefer Povich in that cheap range, but makes some sense. Let's get to the last game on the slate. We'll go back over our favorite pitchers stacks. We'll do a quick pick 6, and then we'll get on out of here, get into the Discord, get our cores and teams in, and start getting NFL work done as well. But first, let's talk about Chicago and the San Francisco Giants here. We've got 2 good pitchers going here. Logan Webb, Shota Imanaga. San Francisco Park does play a little bit better during the daytime, so won't be quite the pitcher's paradise that we sometimes see. Still a good place to pitch, but Ballpark Bell at least has it as pretty much neutral overall today. Logan Webb, though, obviously very, very good pitcher, even better at home. That's always the case for him. It's, of course, a pretty tough matchup against a Chicago Cubs team, but a winnable one for Logan Webb. I certainly think he's in play, along with Imanaga, who's been good in 5 straight starts. Fly ball pitcher who definitely does benefit from pitching in a park like this where it's difficult to hit home runs. So I like both these guys. Curious where you ended up between them. You can certainly fit, Crochet and Webb, Crochet and Imanaga, both these guys together if you want to. Again, kind of theme of the show. There is plenty of salary for the most part to go around on this slate. Figure you're mixing these 2 guys into your teams. Dan, where do you stand on Cubs and Giants?
Yeah, I'm getting around like 15 to 20 of each of these pitchers. I feel like Logan Webb is he's like the JBC special. It's like the good pitcher in a bad matchup. So I think, Webb is obviously going to get squeezed by Crochet, some of the better value arms around him. So I do like Webb he's projecting to be like 26%. I don't think he comes in that high. So I'm kind of interested in Webb as semi-contrarian pitcher up top here. And then as far as bats go, it's really weird. Like I have San Francisco, they don't project all that well, but I actually have them for a ton of home run upside. Like I've got Ramos, Adames, Schmidt, Chapman, Diva. I guess it's not that weird. I got all of these guys.
It's all the righty power against Imanaga. I talked yesterday. The spark's not that bad for right-handed power. It's the left-handed power that's really get dings with the huge wall and in right center field. So. Yeah, those Giants righties, I do think make a lot of sense as one-offs, contrarian options.
Yeah, they're all coming in like around 5% owned too. So you're definitely getting a pretty sweet ownership discount there. I don't have too much of the Chicago bats, but I feel like they're always in play. So I might bump them a little bit, but it is a tough matchup against Webb, I think. So I'll probably lean more towards like playing Webb than I will the Chicago bats. But obviously, Pete Crow Armstrong, Tucker, like all of these guys are viable.
Yeah, definitely. I'm with you on the Giants right-handed power, like you mentioned. Pulling up ownership here. Yeah, it would be Ramos, Chapman, Adames. Those are the big three for me. Obviously, you can mix in the others too, but those are the three that I'd be looking most closely at, specifically Ramos and Chapman. Don't need to know if I need to go to full Giants stacks, but those guys are cheap and a lot of power against a left-handed fly ball pitcher in Imanaga. So, yeah, that makes a ton of sense to me. All right, that is all 5 games. Dan, let's go back over our favorite plays on the slate. It seems like we're mostly arm in arm here at pitcher. What's your favorite pitching combination overall on the slate?
It's Crochet and Povich for sure. Yeah,
I have the exact same answer, and that is going to be in the core, so I won't go too far beyond that. Actually, like Alexander, I think as my number 3. And then I think Webb 4, Imanaga 5 would be where I'm at. Probably cutting it off after those 5. I was looking at Quintana. I just can't play him over Povich. So, yeah, those 5 for me in that order. That's Crochet, Povich, Alexander, Webb, Imanaga. Dan, sounds like you're pretty similar to that as well. Maybe mixing in some Chrismat as well into your pool. Stacks, Dan. 5 games to choose from. Give us 3 stacks you're looking at here.
I got Houston, Pittsburgh, and San Francisco.
Yeah, I will join you on Houston as number 1 today. I'll throw in the Brewers against Chrismat into the mix as my number 2. And, kind of talk to each other a little bit onto these Giants righties. Probably mini stacks for me, but they do make a lot of sense against Imanaga. Get some leverage. Good chance for home runs as well. All right, I will switch out the screen here, and we'll go to a quick pick 6. Then we will get on out of here. There we go. There's pick 6 for us today. I'll start us off. We both like Povich, and I think it's going to be the strikeouts that are there for Povich, even if he does give up a run or 2. Let's see if we can get – yeah, there it is. Only 0.7 multiplier, but I do like over 4.5 for Kate Povich. You want to go ahead next, Dan? Anything you're looking at? What about the Garrett Crochet strikeouts? You think he gets 9?
I have him projected for 8.9. So
right. That'll work.
Yeah.
Well, we got to get on the good mojo with the Crochet train. So we're going for strikeouts early on between Povich and Crochet.
Soft matchup.
Anything else you want to look up here?
Yeah, I'm looking for home runs. Let's get what about Christian Walker home run?
Yeah, I like that a ton. I'm taking this 2.8x on Elliot Ramos to go deep against Imanaga. Should be leading off. That's a big number, 2.8, like his chances. So I'll throw that in there. We'll go over to Christian Walker for our fourth pick. 1.9x on Walker. You like that, or you like hits, runs, RBIs?
1.9x. Let's do the 1.9x. What's that for home runs?
Yep. All
Yeah,
right,
I love
we got Walker to go deep, Ramos to go deep, Crochet and Povich on the strikeouts. What else are we looking at here? What about the Alexander strikeouts? I think you can get them against this Rockies team. Yeah, I like it. 4.5 for Alexander against a super strikeout happy Rockies lineup. We need one more, Dan. Any suggestions?
Yeah, let's look at what about O'Neal Cruz home run? How's that?
That is good. That's a good call against Michaelis. 2.3x for O'Neal Cruz. We will take it. So we got Cruz, Ramos, Walker, all to go yard, Alexander, Povich to get 4.5 or 5+ strikeouts, and then Crochet 9+ strikeouts for the big man. That'll do it for this MLB slate. Appreciate you all watching. Should be Boynton and Stats back tomorrow at the normal time, and football coming. So check us out over at runpuresports.com. You can use promo code RPS15 to get you 15% off your first payment. And with that, that'll do it. Thanks for Dan for filling in this morning. Good luck to everybody in your lineups. Till next time, he's Dan, I'm DC. We're out of here.